what you are going to watch is one of the most fascinating maneuvers in the history of warfare. Enveloped by the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, called the Padma in Bangla to its west, and the mighty Meghna to its east, the area is called the Dhaka Bowl. These natural defenses make the city of Dhaka impregnable. Capturing Dhaka was not in the initial war plans of the Indian Army for the liberation of Bangladesh. If you look at the map closely, the forecorps of the Indian Army was commanded by General Sagat Singh, and he was mandated to liberate the area east of the river Meghna, which at sections is 16 miles wide. Now, this was a fast-moving battle that technically started on the evening of the 3rd of December 1971. By the 5th December, the 57 Mountain Division, commanded by Major General Ben Gonsalves, fought a division-sized battle to capture a heavily fortified border town called Akhora across Agartala in Tripura. The 8th and the 27th Division of the Indian Army, commanded by Major General Krishna Rao and Major General Rocky Hira, were also moving quickly. In the Bay of Bengal, India's aircraft carrier INS Vikrant used its Seahawks and Alizé aircrafts to bomb Cox's Bazar, Chittagong and Khulna, starting the 4th of December morning. And finally, on the 7th of December, the Indian Air Force's 28th Squadron, flying MiGs out of Borjhar, cratered the Tejgaon runway such that no fighter aircrafts could take off or land. With the adversary's air force grounded, the forecorps of the Indian Army closed in on the banks of the river Meghna deep into enemy territory. The Indian military was racing against time and did not want to be stranded behind enemy lines with the possibility of a UN-mandated ceasefire being announced. There was this urgency to race and meet its objectives. What happens on the 9th December morning is one of the most audacious military maneuvers in the history of warfare, directed by the legendary Lieutenant General Sagat Singh, one of India's finest combat generals. Hear this riveting story from an officer who fought the war. Then Flying Officer Ram Mohan Sridharan, later Air Commodore Sridharan.
I am Air Commodore Ram Mohan Sridharan. I got commissioned in the Indian Air Force on 21st June 1969 and was then posted to Kumbhigram, which is in southwestern Assam. And I was posted to a helicopter unit, 110 helicopter unit, which consisted of Mi-4 helicopters. I had graduated from helicopters at Helicopter Training School in Jodhpur and then moved to Kumbhigram. And it took me 2 years to get fully operational on this Russian helicopter. It was a single-engine helicopter and it could carry 15 to 20 troops. I became fully operational, as I said, after 2 years, and the refugees started coming in from March 1971. The Pakistani refugees from East Pakistan started trickling into Assam, and then we came to know that we would probably be in for a war with East Pakistan. And accordingly, our trainings was molded in such a way that we started preparing for heliborne operations, which had been briefed to our CO by General Sagat Singh. General Sagat Singh and 110 had a very close relationship right from the 69-70 period, because he was then 101 Com Zone Commander, and his area of operation was the Mizoram area. And we did a number of heli lifts, which were done by day in Mizoram, but those were only troop lifts. They were not, in the true sense, a heliborne operation. It was just lifted from one helipad to another, and they were done single aircraft at a time. But what was planned by General Sagat, as told to our CO, was he wanted an entire force to be heli-lifted to whichever place that he would designate, and he wanted our unit to train accordingly. So our CO started the the training in such a manner that we operated at night and day in formation, and we would land we would take off from the airfield, do one circuit of cross country at a particular height, and then come back and land at the airfield to simulate that wherever we were going in formation we would land. And this we did both by day and by night, and we did it also with lights and without lights, in such a fashion that this is what we would simulate for our actual operations whenever it happened in Pakistan. Now, when the balloon went up on December the 3rd, as per our unit war plans, we were to move 6 helicopters to Teliamora, which was where the 4 Corps headquarters were located, where General Sagat Singh was also located. And the other 4 helicopters were dispersed at different locations, as we were at that time not very sure that the airspace over East Pakistan was completely dominated by our Indian Air Force. But we came to know of that after 2-3 days of operation, and we then settled down our helicopters at base itself, except one helicopter which was at Aijal in Mizoram. While at Aijal, I was given the message that you have to move to Teliamora and then further to Kailashar to join the rest of our unit, who were then had been already tasked by General Sagat to carry out lift of 4-5 Gurkha Battalion from Kailashar to Sylhet. At this point, I would like to just remind the viewers that our role, actually a wartime role, was only casualty evacuation and communication. That was all our role. And heliborne operation was nowhere mentioned as our role at any point of time. So this was a great innovation that General Sagat sprang on us, and it was indeed a great surprise. But the helicopter by itself is such a versatile machine. We were really prepared for anything that was, thrown at us at that point of time from the army or from our higher formations in command. After we completed our operations on the 9th morning, we moved to Agartala because the rest of the operations were to be conducted ex-Agartala. At Agartala, we were joined by 2 helicopters from 111 helicopter unit at Hashimara and 105 helicopter unit at Chabua. And their pilots and their ground crew, and all these helicopters were wonderfully maintained by our ground crew and flight engineers and gunners, who did a absolutely marvelous job for us. Amazing job, because all these aircrafts had some bullet shots, or some, including one of the aircrafts, one of the pipelines of the one of the lines of the fuel gauge was hit by that, and that fuel gauge started reading 0. But we didn't know, and the pilots did not know that this had happened. But when they landed and they were refueling the aircraft, at that point they found that a bullet had gone through that. And also, since the Mi-4 is quite a high helicopter, the pilots sit right on top, both the pilots, and below is the cabin where the troops are. All the fire was actually directed at the front of the helicopter, which is well protected with the engine. The engine is right in front, and above that the 2 pilots sit. So the pilots are well protected, but still the sniper fire was experienced by a number of our pilots, including me, which came from the front, and it went right across the cabin and went out from the other window. So it was quite a experience. There was plenty of ground fire at Sylhet. Mainly we experienced ground fire mainly at Sylhet. After we reached Agartala, Group Captain Chandan Singh made a quick trip to Jorhat for some instructions which he had to pass, and then he comes back to Agartala. When he reached Jorhat, he was congratulated by the Sasso of Eastern Air Command and told that your mission, which was to Sylhet, the night mission, was a great success, and the army has praised your the efforts that was done under your guidance. And now the rest of the operations, you take full charge of the operations, which have to be done ex Agartala. The operation of crossing the Meghna was only a matter known to Group Captain Chandan Singh and General Sagat. It was not known to Eastern Air Command. Eastern Air Command had told the army that we can only heli lift a maximum of 120 troops. That was what was the mandate that was laid down right at the outset. But we had lifted over 600 already. So the army was very confident that we would be able to heli lift this division, which was to be heli lifted from Agartala across the Meghna. But this was only known to Group Captain Chandan Singh and General Sagat. 27 Brigade of the Pakistani Army retreats from Brahmanbaria to Bhairab Bazar, blowing up the Coronation Bridge over the river Meghna. The adversary believed, after blowing up the bridge, that the Indian army would be confined to the east of the river Meghna. The Meghna is a mighty river at places 16 miles wide. Sagat planned to use 110 helicopter unit to heli-lift an entire division of 6,000 troops and equipment across Meghna and attack Dhaka. This seemed a preposterous plan since these helicopters were for rescue and evacuation roles only. It is speculated that Sagat had to use his skills of persuasion, backed by his personality, to convince the Eastern Command and the Army headquarters to this plan. This bold innovation is considered to be one of the main reasons for a swift victory in 1971. There were several recce's by Sagat, Ben Gonsalves, Mishra, Chandan Singh, and Himmat Singh to choose the landing zone on the west of Meghna. The Chetak, which was flown by Captain Gurbakh Sehota, was the one generally used for these recce's. Just prior to the start of the Meghna crossing, General Sagat, along with Squadron Leader Sandhu, Flight Lieutenant Ved, also Group Captain Chandan, went for a recce of all selected landing sites at Brahmanbaria, Narsingdi, and Raipura. This Chetak helicopter was flown by two Air Force pilots, flying officers Sahi and Sidhu. While returning to Agartala, General Sagat asked the pilots to come down below 1,000 feet. The helicopter came under intense small arms fire from the enemy, hitting the co-pilot in his thigh and grazing Sagat's forehead. The helicopter landed at Agartala safely with 38 bullet holes. Through the war, Sagat used to fly all over his battlefields with Major Generals Ben Gonsalves, Rocky Hira, and Krishna Rao, often flown by Captain Gurbakh Sehota. It was a war where senior commanders were with their front troops as they advanced. The recce was done. That was prior to our landing up at Agartala. The Chetak, along with Group Captain Chandan Singh and General Sagat, and the two pilots of the Chetaks, they did a recce at Raipura and Narsingdi, which were the two places which General Sagat wanted us to land at, across the Meghna, because the Meghna itself is is a massive river, one of the two big rivers in Bangladesh, Meghna and Padma. And Meghna crossing is what was most essential for the army at that point of time, because the Pakistani forces had blown up the bridge across the Meghna, and the fastest way to cross the Meghna would be by helicopter. And that is why these two places were selected at Narsingdi and Raipura. And as they were coming back, General Sagat spotted some troops on the ground, and he wanted to see whether that the area was clear to land. He checked there was an open field quite close to that area, so he came down and he told the pilot to go down, and he went down. And as they were looking out for this place, suddenly there was a burst of fire, a burst of small arms fire from the ground, and the helicopter was badly hit. They immediately abandoned that exercise and came back and landed at Agartala. And the helicopter was badly shot up with 38 bullet holes were seen in it. The co-pilot was hit through his thigh, and General Sagat got a graze mark, bullet mark through on his forehead. Group Captain Chandan Singh was scratch-free. Nothing happened to him. Nor was the other pilot who flew the aircraft back safely, and he took the co-pilot to for medical aid to Teliamora. The helicopter subsequently was patched up and repaired and flown back to Tezpur from where it had come. But seeing this helicopter, our CO, flight commander and all told us to have a look at it to see how badly it had been hit. But that did not deter us from our objective of carrying out more heliborne operations from ex-Agartala. We were told to take the helicopters to Brahmanbaria from Agartala. And Brahmanbaria already, the ground had been approved by our CO and flight commander for parking all the helicopters there to carry out the heli lift. We took the helicopters to Brahmanbaria. We started the heliborne operations to Narsingdi and Raipura. And they were the 4 Guards was the battalion which was to be heli lifted. The first flight which took off from Brahmanbaria for Raipura, on board that helicopter was our CO who was flying it, and Colonel Himmat, the CO of 4 Guards, and Major Chandrakant, also of 4 Guards, and Group Captain Chandan Singh, who was leading the way for us. And following them were 4 helicopters which also went to Raipura in formation. They landed in that same field which had been selected by Group Captain Chandan Singh. And there actually those were all the landing grounds, as I explained earlier also, were paddy fields, dry paddy fields. And they had a lot of hay which was flying up, but it was quite hard, and it had no dust coming up. The dust was very minimal. Only this hay was coming up, and it would obstruct our vision for a while, but once it settled down, the downwash was enough for it to keep it down only. And the landings were very comfortable, and we crossed the river at a very safe height, and we landed in formation of 5 in a row actually. And that's how the helicopters operated to Raipura and later on to Narsingdi. I must also tell you that there was a threat of gunboats also, At all these points where we landed close to the river, there was a threat of gunboats, though we did not get fired upon. But the intelligence reports had said that there were gunboats, and we stayed clear of that area which had been earmarked as dangerous for us to operate in. Now you have the viewers have seen that this entire operation was quite a dangerous operation in the fact that we had plenty of threat of ground fire both at Sylhet and the other landing zones that we operated in, both at day and by night. But fortunately, none of the helicopters which were even shot, even they were retrieved very speedily and were back online so that we could heli-lift the entire troops, both at Sylhet as well as across the Meghna. And that did not hamper or impede any bit of the Army's operation of lifting the 57 Brigade across the Meghna and the Gurkha Battalion to Sylhet by day or by night. And the helicopter which was actually which met with a little episode was one which was going back to base, and that caught fire. That due to some technical reasons, it's got nothing to do with the war, and that also they landed safely, but the aircraft was written off. It caught fire, and that was the end of that helicopter. At this point, I would like to bring it to the notice of the viewers that you just imagine yourself trying to park a car in a completely dark night without any reference of any lights anywhere, and you want to park your car totally in darkness. Now, instead of that, we were told to fly 5 helicopters in formation in a totally dark environment and land the same at different landing grounds where we also did not have any reference or any light to go by. So it was a total darkness both ways, whether it was at any of the landing grounds that we operated in enemy territory across the Meghna, which at its widest point is 16 miles. We lifted a total of 689 troops to Sylhet and also lifted 6,011 troops across the Meghna to 3 different locations from Brahmanbaria, right across the Meghna, by day and by night. And along with these 6,011 troops, we also lifted artillery guns and the manpower for those artillery guns to be used by the army accordingly. And during this entire heli lift across the Meghna, at the places that we landed at Narsingdi, Raipura and Vaidya Bazar and Dudkundi, 4 places that we had landed, and even at Brahmanbaria, the local Mukti Bahini were of great help in loading and offloading the guns and the whatever load they had, whatever the army load was there, and taking it to safer places which were on that ground and speeding up our operations to a very, very large extent. They were of great help, immense help, I must say that. And this was a factor which also helped the army in a very big way and helped us to go back quickly to get the next shuttle, So that part was also one of the points which I had missed out earlier. And this entire force that we heli lifted across the Meghna played a large part in the early surrender of Dhaka, along with the paradrop which happened at Tangail. This speeded up operations completely and led to the early surrender at Dhaka on 16th of December. On the day of the surrenders, actually on the 15th, we stopped operations because we were told that a surrender was being negotiated by General Jacob at Dhaka. He had flown in from Calcutta by a Chetak helicopter, and he was already in Dhaka and negotiating the surrender. So we were all set, waiting for orders for further action. When in the morning of 16th, we were told that the top brass of Eastern Armed Forces would be arriving at Agartala and not they would not fly in from Calcutta. They would fly in to Dhaka from Agartala. And they were picked up by Avro from Calcutta, Guwahati, and then landed at Agartala. That included the Army Commander General Arora, the Air Force Commander Air Marshal Diwan, and the Naval CNC Admiral Krishnan. These three were there, and along with their staff, they all landed at Agartala. Then we were told that 5 of our helicopters, that is the Mi-4, and 3 Chetaks which were there, the 3 Chetaks would carry the top brass, that is the 3 Army, Air Force and Naval heads, and the other generals would all be in our aircrafts along with their staff and along with our crew, which our flight commander made it very clear that all pilots all pilots and crew of 110 helicopter plus 111 and 105, they all would go to Dhaka in our Mi-4 helicopters. So they all, by 4 o'clock in the evening, all the helicopters were readied and we took off. It took us 40 minutes to reach Dhaka. And as we were approaching, and I was actually, our flight commander had detailed 2 of the pilots who had flown the maximum. That was myself and my coursemate, one flying officer Oberoi. We were the ones who had flown the maximum sorties. Being the youngest and the junior most in the unit, we were always ready to take on any task that was given to us. Therefore, that is the reason why we had flown the maximum sorties. And though there were 18 other pilots, but the tasks were generally given to us since we were the youngest. Anyway, we were given the task to fly the aircraft to Dhaka. 2 of the aircrafts, and the other 3 were flown by the senior pilots of our unit. And I was flying with then Squad Leader Karyappa, who later on became Air Marshal Karyappa, son of Field Marshal Karyappa. And he was flying on the right seat, and as we were approaching Dhaka, I was looking out for a place to where we would be landing, because the runway had been completely bombed by our air power, and only the taxi track was available. And that taxi track, and we were looking at places where we could be close to the air traffic control. And we found a clear area, and after we landed, there was a big party to receive us there, because the army commander and all the other chiefs were there. And General Niazi and his party were also there to receive the army commander. And they were taken by their vehicles to the race course. We had to switch off the aircraft and, lock it up and then move to the vehicles which were provided for us also. There were some private vehicles, and there were a lot of enthusiastic locals, all Bengalis only, and they were very, very keen that we go in their car and take over their car. We said, no, we will go on our own, don't worry. And we reached the race course. Now at the race course, there was a huge crowd there, and already by the time we had reached, the tables had been set up for the surrender ceremony, and amongst the people who were at the table was All India Radio news reader Surajit Sen was also there. If you see the surrender picture, you'll see him seated there, He was also one of the witnesses to the surrender. And also one of our unit pilots, Flying Officer Krishnamurthy, he was a very curious guy, and he went along with one of the reporters. He also had come in the cabin of one of our helicopters. He was not flying, so he could move around, and finally he reached the table, and he became history, because he's the guy who's pushing General Jacob out of the surrender ceremony. General Jacob is there, but he's just putting his hand like that and peering over his shoulder to look at whatever document was being signed at that point of time. We all were there, but he had the, what should I say? I should say curious bent of mind, which took him right there. And next day, he was called by the CO when the newspapers were received, that what have you done? So he was shocked. He didn't know that he had made the headlines of the newspapers of the world by appearing in the surrender photograph. After the surrender ceremony, we landed back at Agartala. Our unit was called by General Sagat, and he promised us that on New Year's Day, he would meet our entire unit at Intercontinental Hotel for a binge on New Year's Eve. In conclusion, I would like to say that we thought that the war would be only about casualty evacuation and communication. That was the role of 110 helicopter unit. Never did we anticipate that we would be part of the battlefield in an operation that would be so historic and carry out a heliborne night operation which had never been attempted or done in India or across the world at that point of time. And neither did we think that the helicopter force which operated with the army, in sync with the army, and carried out all these operations so smoothly and so well, thanks to the understanding between General Sagat and Group Captain Chandan Singh. That understanding filtered down to all of us, and we never ever refused any sortie or any passenger or any load during this entire operation. A new nation, we were instrumental in the birth of a new nation, Bangladesh.